So what is up, guys? You got your boy Stingren here today, and today we are back with some reverse 1999 content, and today we're going to be talking about Windsong. Blue Pocket decided to pull a crazy card and have her be reran just before for 2-2. So I'm going to talk to you guys about Windsong and talk about how she has basically progressed since her release in patch 1.8, whether or not you should consider pulling for her, and of course showcase her off with some new updated teams. And let's get right into the video. So first things first, let's take a good look at our Windsong. My Windsong is at P3. So yeah, I've been very lucky in getting some Windsong dupes. I didn't get my P2 off of the Angel banner, and I got my P3 just recently because I failed my 50/50 for Barca. That's why I haven't uploaded a Barca showcase. I'm sorry, guys. I'm only human. But anyway, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Windsong. So Windsong, upon initial release, was considered as the strongest single target DPS. How has that changed now that we're in patch 2.4? It hasn't changed. It has not changed. Windsong is still the strongest single target DPS in this entire game, which is absolutely insane. She is going on in current CN actually too. In current CN, she's still the strongest. We're going on now, patch 2.5, and I think in a few more weeks, and she's still untapped when it comes to being the best. Not No unit in the game matches her power. It's kind of insane because Windsong is what you consider a limited level unit without them having the limited tag, which means she didn't have a special limited banner or anything like that, or she can only be pulled at select times. She's just that good. And the general reason why Windsong is that good is because of how much damage you can quickly get with Windsong. And if you guys don't know, the main way that you would play Windsong is you will want to stack up a bunch of this card right here and then fire them off using her ultimate, which is called Long Journey. So the whole core concept is you use this to generate preparation cards, which will always generate one of these, and you want to stack them to get to the 2 to the 3, and then you want to keep doing this for as much as you can before you want to pop. Now, there's a few ways you can go about this. There's the long form and there's the short form. Which is the most current relevant one to use in today's environment? I would say it's the short form. The long form unfortunately took a nerf as of recent patches. The reason why it took a nerf is because you can really blow everything up in just a matter of, infinitely stacking a card with Windsong, and they at least wanted you to quote unquote try. But even with the nerf, this still didn't stop Windsong from being used and, quite frankly, topping at a lot of the current raids. Even the new raid that just came out, which is more so meant for impromptu, she's still number one in that raid. Why? Because she does such substantial amount of damage, and she's so strong. I cannot stress this enough. Windsong is a incredible unit. If you pull her from an off banner, if you pull her on the upcoming rerun, congratulations. You got the best single target DPS in the entire game, which is great. Now, of course, we'll talk about whether or not you should pull at the end, because this does actually hold some weight to conversation because of a 2-2 is coming and she's an incredible unit herself. But anyway, so that's kind of just the general TLDR of Windsong. Windsong, upon release, was always great. She got better in 1.9 because she got access to the new tuning, which made stacking her cards way more easier. She got better partners over the course of time, units like Mercuria, Lapera, Flutterpage. She's gotten a lot better consistently. She's been consistently the amplifier for single target teams to thrive, and that's really just it. She's the backbone to having a really strong single target team, in my honest opinion. I don't think there's no one really topping Windsong. Honestly, I don't. Not in terms of single target, not right now. But let's go over her kit. Let's talk about what she does. Since mine is P3, numbers will seem higher, and I will talk about their base numbers. So just if you see a different number and I say a different number, it's because I'm referencing more so P0. I do have a P0 showcase of Windsong when she first got released in 1.8, so you guys can kind of see how she worked then. So yeah, but anyway, let's get right into it. So let's talk about her insight. So her I1, whenever an ally scores a critical hit off of an incantation on an enemy, she will get a stack of measure, which is a critical rate of 3% and critical damage of 3%, which stacks up to 15 times. And this is a 2-round, which stacks individually. So that means if you get one stack one round, and then you get another stack in another round, the next following round, one stack will drop instead of all the stacks. That's pretty much how that works. So if you can get all 15 stacks, that is effectively 45% crit rate, 45% critical damage, which is huge because she wants to hyper focus on these stacks because of her main attacking cards, which we'll talk about in just a second. Insight 2 gives her an additional 10% whenever she enters the battle. Wonderful, because again, very same reason, you want to stack as much critical rate, critical damage as you can. There's that. Insight 3, when entering the battle, she will gain critical rate plus 10% and critical damage plus 10%. So another 10% boost. Mine does say 25% because mine is past P2. That's what you get from going from P2. But if you have her at P0, it will be another additional 10%, which again, still good. That's still good because again, that's still going to help amplify her and get her easier to 100% crit rate. And whenever she casts the ultimate, she gains one stack of Preparation Windsong, which basically gives her another cast of Practicability, which basically means you can kind of cycle back into your rotation a little bit quicker. But ideally speaking, you really don't use this that much. In the main, well, I mean, you do on short stack because in raid situations, the boss is infinite until like you die or you go past the 30 turns. So that's kind of just it. But most normal situations that you use Windsong in, they're probably gonna die. Like they're probably gonna die. So you may not really get to see this, but if you do, then just know that she has a way to easily get back into her rotation or even get back into doing more level 2s to stack up more of this card. And what you do with Windsong is that you really do want to get level 2s because you get 2 stacks of preparation, which means it generates 2 casts of this. And remember, the whole goal is to get a level 3 or level 2 of these. These are her stronger casting skills. So that's that. Let's go into her attacks. This is our main attack, which is called Rehabilitation. You don't really want to cast this attack. Now, you can. You can if you want to. You don't specifically have to wait until the ultimate if you really just want to finish something off, or if something lives with just like a little bit of HP and you kind of want to just have a little bit of extra damage in there. Sure, by all means, that is something that you can effectively do. But for the most part, you want to be stacking this card until you're ready to cast the ultimate. Because what the ultimate does is it inflicts the enemy with the confusion debuff, which is incredibly great. And you get the mapping effect, which basically means she can't lose Eureka. So that means every single time you cast this card at its full amount, you will get the full effect, which is the after effect, which is you consume 2 Eureka. Since that mapping effect will not allow you to lose Eureka, you will be able to, always cast a card at its full potential modifier, which is what makes it such a fantastic skill. So that is what you traditionally want to do. And of course, long journey, as I mentioned before, that's going to be the ult that triggers the just the stack of attacks that will go against the enemy, and you go from there. Let's talk about cube choices. So cube choices, I would say her own cube works personally fine, but if you want to, you can actually go a different cube. There's actually one that I do fully recommend, and it's not letting me do that. There we go. A cube that I do recommend is Juice Cube outside the city. And the big reason why I recommend outside the city is because it gives you critical rate bonus, and she does deal extra damage off of her attacks when she casts ult. So whenever she casts those cast of rehabilitation, those count as extra actions. And those will give her stacks of critical damage, so effectively making each attack slightly more and more stronger over the course of time. So that's definitely something that you can actually use that is actually going to help bolster her damage. But of course, if you really want to, using her own card is absolutely fine. Let's talk about her portraits next. Her portraits are of the following. When you get it to P1, honestly, I do think P1 is probably her best stopping point because you get the extra modifier buff for rehabilitation, which you can see it now bumps it from 200, 290 to 480, and the bonuses go from 90, 130 to 200%, which is fantastic. But if you get her to P2, as you can see, her I3 effect changes, which goes from 10% to now 25%, so a 15% increase. And then P3, the Eureka gain on long journeys increases to 5. This is kind of a wasteful this is a wasteful portrait, honestly, because the way you normally play Windsong, since you're stacking already naturally, you're gonna have 5 Eureka by the time you pop your ult. Regardless if you're short or long stacking, you're gonna have 5 Eureka. I think this is only really incentivized if you were to want to use her own cards as damage, just to kind of push maybe like a threshold or something, maybe, so that way you always guarantee. But yeah, it's not really that good of a portrait. If you get P3, it's kind of but it's closer to P5, so can't really complain. P4, practicability, only rank 1 and 2 gets buffed, which again, a little bit of an but then again, you're not really casting rank 3 practicability, so I guess it's understood. But yeah, you get 180, 230 damage increase, not bad. And then P5 will give you your final increase to rehabilitation again, which bumps it now from 220, 320 to 520 modifiers respectfully, 110, 160, and 240 as the extra modifiers that you get from consuming Eureka. All right, so let's talk about her build. So this is what mine looks like at R15. If you were to ask me if you should R15 Windsong, I do think you should. She's going to be a unit that you can continuously use in single target content. So, but if you're limited on resources, just take it to R10. Take it to R10, that's perfectly fine. But R15 is the end goal if you considerably see yourself using a unit for a long time. And since Windsong has yet to be outclassed, this is something that you can take to R15 and still be relatively fine. So I recommend it. I guess I'd say give it a shot. And without further ado, let's take a one good look at our final stats right here. This is what mine has. And let's go ahead and take her into some showcase content. Alright guys, we're now here with the showcase part of the video. This is the team we'll be using. We'll be using Flutter Page for the +1 AP effect, the field effect, which is going to give us extra damage dealt up, which is going to be really good for Windsong. We're using Vila for her big song buff, which is going to be 30% critical rate, 40% critical damage, and 200% total modifier at 3-star cast, which is what we want for our Windsong. And Kakania just for sustain and surviving. I was running Mercuria here. This would be the primary best option, Mercuria, because Mercuria gives an additional 20% crit rate, 30% critical damage, and she gives Incantation Might bonus, which is all things Windsong would want. But I kind of run into the situation of dying before I can set up my optimal burst. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Kakania, just kind of help alleviate that. So we did get a really good start in getting a level 2 of this immediately. So the whole strat is just going to be us doing this, and then we're going to set up our +1 effect on AP. So, but yeah, I'm going to be doing this for right now because I just want Kakania to kind of just help us survive. And that does unfortunately mean a bit of a DPS loss for us, which is a little bit annoying because would love to have shown off the full amount, but it is what it is. You know, I'm not going to be too upset about it. I'm going to just do what I possibly can do. So I'm going to do this to get my first level 3, which is great. We're going to do this as well to get another stack going. We will go ahead and heal up Kakania, and we could extend our field. Mine is P1, so we do have an extra turn left of +1 AP. So, but we'll go ahead and extend it up. Why not? Nothing wrong with extending that +1 AP effect because that's a really good effect for her. So, okay. Again, we're gonna rinse repeat, which is just precast, get rid of these cards. Now, unfortunately, this one will have to disappear because we have nothing to stack it up with, unfortunately. So that's what we're gonna have to just kind of let go right now, but it's okay. So Kakania should survive long enough with her empathy to the point to where we shouldn't have to worry. I did just R15 my Kakania today too, so you know she's definitely gonna have an easier time surviving. Definitely gonna have an easier time. All right, so now we can start setting up our burst, which is we're gonna need to do that summon. Let's check our empathy. All right, we're good. And I can erase. Oh yeah, I can erase this for sure because we don't really need it. We're just gonna go ahead and stack up more of a card. Again, let me see. Yeah, we're gonna have to lose one card, which is fine. So boom. We will this. We will. So we can heal Kakania. She also has her own buff going, so we can do this for the song. Cast this so we can get ready for the bonus effect that it gives. And yeah, let me see. Yeah, and then we'll move this over here. Sure. So we're already off to a really good start, as I mentioned earlier. We just need one more. I think one more cast of the level 3, and then I think that'll be enough for us to kind of start considering kind of firing off our stuff. So oh nice, we got to rank up immediately. I mean, that means we'll just waste that, unfortunately, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's do this. So that's this. Let's just flutter ult just to get it out. No. Flutter ult, heal, fuse. This to guarantee our ult, and then this will guarantee us our final level 3, and then we just need the last one more turn. We'll need the last one more turn, and then we can fire off our ultimate. We just have to make sure we have the right stuff active, so Vila song and all that stuff. Boom. Okay, there we go. So now we have our disconcernment buff active. So this turn I won't actively do anything with Windsong because I kind of want to keep my buffs going. So I want to keep my buffs strong, and sure, I mean it's only one cast, so that's not really bad. So next turn I should have Vila's ult. And then I'll be able to do the thing that I want to do. So let's just go ahead and make sure. Where is our empathy anyway? Okay, close to max. So we can for sure mitigate at least something this turn. I'm actually going to. Do I have Vila song? I do. Okay, never mind. I was going to do the Vila thing, but never mind. I don't need to anymore. All right, so let's do this into this. We don't have to cast these. This, and then we just prepare. Honestly, I mean, he's gonna die. You're gonna die. You might die off the first hit, maybe, to be honest. Doink! First hit, 180k. Oh my god, I didn't even need to stack. I didn't even need to stack. But that's just a taste of what you get with Windsong. That's just a taste. You build her up efficiently with the right kind of supports and the right type of things to boost her damage, and she just explodes, dude. Like, I'm trying to tell you, she's a fantastic unit through and through. So yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and go back to over to our Windsong, and then I'll give you guys the final recommendation if you should pull her or not. All right, so the final question that everyone is asking: should I pull for this Windsong rerun? Now, with everything that I've said about Windsong, the obvious answer should be yes, but hear me out. I would only say to pull for the Windsong banner if you do not feel as if you have enough sufficient amount of DPSs. The one reason that I'm saying to maybe hold your clear drops, hold your bunnies, hold your unilogs, whatever you want to call them, the main reason why I'm considering that you should not pull is because Fatutu is right around the corner, and Fatutu is a wonderful unit. She is a grade S sustain, and we do not get sustains as much as we get DPSs. DPS is probably the most common thing we get in this game in terms of new banner releases, followed by supports, but we don't really get sustains all that much. So if you if you really wanted to hold off on your resources, then I would say to maybe unfortunately skip Windsong, maybe hope you get her in a lost 50-50 instead. But if you really feel as if you want to get a DPS to, just help push your account, or you need a strong single target DPS, or you just generally love Windsong, then yes, I would highly, highly recommend pulling her, because she is a very strong character. She has not been crept yet. She's still at the top of the leaderboards for in terms of single target DPSing. And yeah, that's really just it. But if you're yourself are kind of weighing in on your resources and you're not sure where you should go, I would say maybe get the sustain first, because sustains are again rare. But if you have enough, if you don't have enough DPSs, then go for Windsong, and then maybe hope you can get lucky on Fatutu. But anyway, that's been it. This has been your boy Stingren. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.